Hey, Christy. Yep, you're fast. The first Bob. How you doing? I know I said that we'd probably do this on Wednesday, but I'm looking at my list of things that have to be done tomorrow, and I'm thinking, you know what? Let's go ahead and do a live chat quick. It probably won't be a super long one, but we can talk for a little bit here for those of us who are still awake. Hey, Callie girl. Hey, Paula. Hey, Jan. So I titled this live chat A Tapestry of Lies, the Chris Watts case. And here's the thing. If you guys are a fan of Tucker Carlson, then you may have watched the interview that Tucker Carlson did of Kyle Rittenhouse, which, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty impressive. That kid is pretty impressive. He's an 18-year-old kid, and I'll tell you, he sounds more mature than most, 30-somethings. Absolutely. Well, Tucker Carlson coined the phrase a tapestry of lies specific to the case that was brought against Kyle Rittenhouse, and even more specifically, the MSM and all the celebrities and everyone literally committing defamation against Kyle Rittenhouse, calling him things that he clearly isn't at all. So I have a feeling Kyle Rittenhouse is about to get very, very rich, if you know what I'm saying. I think they're going to be suing a lot of people. And I think he should, actually. I think good for him. Well, when Tucker Carlson said a tapestry of lies, I thought, isn't that like the best way to say it right there? We are lied to so many times by the mainstream media, and we're also lied to on social media. And of course, we're lied to on everything about the case of Christopher Watts. And the people lying to us even admit they're lying to us, right? And then the people who are supposedly fighting with each other, well, I'd say most of them are lying. It's a pack of liars. It's what it is. It's a pack of liars. And they can just stare right at their camera and lie like they're reading a script, which I think they are. Speaking of scripts, have you seen any interesting posts recently specific to the case of Christopher Watts and those associated with the case? Have you seen any posted comments recently that you read them and thought, there's no way in hell that person wrote that comment? You know what I'm saying? I think you know what I'm saying. So this whole thing that's going on right now with everyone fighting and everyone playing out their, oh, this one's suing that one and that one's suing this one, and everyone has their hand out for money, trying to convince their subs that they need money in order to either be sued or to sue. It's all a bunch of bunko. There's so much out there. Even just if you just put in the search engine or the search thingy, Chris Watts, and then you do the filter for the last 24 hours, there's a new video that was posted at some point in the last 24 hours that the woman is saying that people are lying because they're saying that there was an insurance policy on Christopher Watts' wife. And she said there wasn't any insurance policy on Christopher Watts' wife, only what came from that employer, right? Making it sound like it was a crappy employer or something, really? Because that happened to be the income coming into that household that was supporting Bella and Cece. But anyway, and she's literally upset because people are lying and saying there was an insurance policy when there wasn't one. What? Is that what the script is saying now? Because right after this case was first being talked about on social media, we were told very clearly that, in fact, her parents held a life insurance policy on her, and wasn't it to the tune of like $200,000? And did you ask yourself, like, who does that and why? Didn't you wonder if a person has a $200,000 life insurance policy, why it would be that the beneficiaries wouldn't have been her spouse and children? Do you really think there wasn't a will? Or do you think that possibly the will grew legs? I don't know. Maybe it was tucked into that makeup bag that went traveling before it was put into evidence. Just saying. So there's a whole new channel taking people to task, calling them liars, insisting that there wasn't an insurance policy. Are you kidding me? And that's not even talking about the fundraisers. That's not even talking about the lost wages that were reimbursed by the taxpayers. That's not talking about taking money from the victims fund, right? But that video's right up there in what I think fits the phrase that Tucker Carlson said during the Rittenhouse interview: a tapestry of lies. And I'll tell you, it can make your head spin to try to keep up with who's who. Some of the people on these panels, just a year ago, they were the dirtiest scumbags of all. But I guess they just kind of brush themselves off, go to a different sandbox, and begin playing again as if it's their first time out on a play date. We are being fed misinformation on a daily basis. Why? Why, 3 years later, are we still being fed misinformation? Why? And why do so many of the scumbag attackers seem to believe that we all have very short memories? I'm scrolling up here. I didn't know that about family members being mods for a YouTube channel. I agree, Christy. If we stop talking about the case, then what happens? That's why when I removed myself completely from social media, they doubled down. They didn't care about me at all. They cared about using my name and trying to make it look like I was the person who actually wrote the crap that they were writing with fake profiles using my name. They create antagonists. That's the only way to keep the fight going, right? The scumbag attackers, I for the job. And then, I don't know, maybe every month they get to sign up for a different job or they get moved around a little bit. But it's pretty clear to me, after what happened the other night during a live chat, that there's one person in particular, even though she isn't on YouTube anymore, who appears to still be actively involved in the scumbag attacks. Do they all answer to one? Do they have many teams going on? And I have a question. When did it become in vogue, for a bunch of foreigners to be trying to tell us what laws we need in the United States. Last time I checked, the United States had the best criminal justice system, and perhaps even the best civil justice system also. We have the Constitution. You know, there was a war a while back when we very clearly sent the message that we weren't going to be taking orders from a certain country. Yet, that country and other countries that country is closely tied to seem to think that they need to have a bunch of, social media warriors on hand to try to pressure the world, I guess, into somehow forcing the United States to become just like them. I don't want us to become just like them. If you're in another country and you're piping up about whether or not we need more laws, you don't even know what laws we have. It's none of your business. Period. If you're in a foreign country and you need a doctor, how long does it take you to get on the waiting list? Do you get to choose your doctor? Do you get to go for a second opinion? When you do find a doctor, do you actually get quality medical care? How much do you pay in taxes? Do your police officers actually have the privilege of carrying firearms? If there's a case of domestic violence and the person who was attacked calls the police for help, do you live in the country that is pretty much known for not giving a shit? Okay, since I'm not impressed at all with your laws, how about you keep your nose out of ours? Did you guys see what happened the other night during the Crafton and Kim live chat? They had a guest up on the panel who they sat there and never bothered to interrupt when she was attacking me until she said, "Who are you, Miss Mensa? Are you Critical K?" And as soon as she said Critical K, whoo, the host of that show jumped fast. What's that tell you? But at the very end of that show, they pretty much agreed with their guest that something has to be done. Something has to be done. What, more laws? And that person lives in a country that I would never, ever want to live in. I wouldn't even want to visit it. With the stuff I see on the news about that country, But, she's hopping up on panels. She thinks something's got to be done. Well, she makes false allegations and defamatory statements while the two hosts of that little show, one of them laughing, thought it was okay. And she's going to evidently promote the agenda that something has to be done. I'm sorry, but if you're living over in the UK, if you're living in Australia, don't go trying to mess with our Constitution. Or at the very least, could you read it first before you open your mouth? Nah, don't even bother. Sapphire says, is that photo you from school, the one from the other day? No, I was 35 or 36 years old, Sapphire. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying, I mean, if you're from the UK, hallelujah, I'm glad you're here. Let's talk about the case. But if you're from the UK or Australia or Canada, don't go trying to tell me that we need new laws in the United States. You don't know our legal system, and it's none of your business. And maybe if you lived in a country that had a better system in place, then maybe you could say something like, gee, this is how we do it here, and this has been helpful in whatever, blah, blah. But that isn't the case, and you know it. I especially get hot about this when people from Australia and Canada and the UK bitch, moan, and complain about our Second Amendment rights. If you live in a country that you don't have the right to keep and bear arms, don't go trying to tell us that we need to do it differently than we do it here. It's none of your business, number one. And number two, sucks to be you. Lisa Hunt just said the channel you just mentioned never has content unless it's about another creator. They are trouble in my book. You know, I'll go ahead and give you my opinion on some of that crap. There's so many channels that are created for the sole purpose of attacking others. They're not about the case. They're not about discussing the case at all. They use that as their little virtue signaling routine. Oh, Miss Mensa, she said mean things. Really? I guess that tells me that they're okay with overdosing children. They're okay with stunting their emotional and physical growth. They're okay with doctor hopping and shopping. They're okay with a very sadistic sounding mother pushing a little 4.5-year-old until she cries. They must be okay with that if they think Miss Mensa is saying something that's mean. So they're virtue signaling. They're creating channels to attack other creators. That's their sole purpose in life. And they do it, you know, as a boo-hoo, we have to stand up for what's right. And then they gather up a bunch of other channel creators, right? And they form their teams, and you know damn well their teams are already formed. Hello. You know, some of them have pulled shit as recently as 6 months ago. Others were pulling shit 3 years ago. But for the most part, they're all nasty people gathering together, trying to kind of reshape their little, you know, paradigm of scumbag attackerville. But they come out with channels to say, oh, we're going to stand up for what's right. Oh, we're going to expose these mean, terrible people. And then they go on and on and on. And they talk about their families, and they talk about their employment and their careers, and they talk about everything under the sun. And what they're doing is bullshit. If somebody truly is not okay with another creator, then the proper human adult response is to unsubscribe. You know, YouTube has a cool little feature that all you have to do is click on this little thingy, and you can tell YouTube to not show you that channel in your feed. It's that easy. But it isn't that they have a problem with that creator. They're part of a planned, organized, scripted agenda to try to keep the chaos and confusion going. And the only way they have content is to do the virtue signaling bullshit, and then to go on and on and on about how terrible the other people are. Alice Cooper spends hours attacking the chair lady. The chair lady I don't know if she's still doing it. I don't think so. But she has spent hours attacking Alice Cooper while their little minions run around and attack on their behalf. And then they both claim they're true crimers. Yeah, okay. Are they? I think what's happened with the case of Christopher Watts is the true crime community got infiltrated, and it had already happened a few years prior in the United States, and even a few years before that in the UK. With the yahoos who are creating content, probably to, subsidize their disability checks, using their unlimited data plans on their free phones, and they're hopping online, probably while their kids are in daycare, at the taxpayers' expense, and their husband's at work. And they're probably telling their in-laws that they're successful with an MLM. They're bullies. They're abusers. They probably have no other option to make money. Many of them openly discuss their mental health issues. Many of them openly discuss a long list of self-proclaimed illnesses, diseases, quote unquote, health challenges. I'm not the first to point out the reflection of the scumbag attackers of the person they claim to idol or idolize. I said that wrong. Of their idol. What do you think Christopher Watts' wife was doing all day? What do you think she was doing on social media, posting? All day, every day. Do you honestly believe she ever made a penny on any of the MLMs she signed up for? Do you honestly believe she ever worked? Do you honestly believe that she actually was trying to save her marriage? When in fact, it sure does appear to me that that marriage was over long before she flew, accompanied by her father, to North Carolina in the summer, early summer of 2018. Christy says it's interesting, your theory on whether Christopher Watts' wife was in such attacking groups. Well, Christy, think about how fast the scumbag attackers pounced on the case. That would be my first clue that the theory might be spot on. Man, they were ready. A few of the channel creators actually claimed to know her. A few of the channel creators also claimed they were in the same MLMs. Huh, isn't that interesting? Sandy says that girl wasn't trying to save her marriage, she was running from it. There was no marriage, in my opinion. There was no marriage to save. I think when she was 32 weeks along in her pregnancy with Bella, that her mental illness issues, because I agree with the friends who were interviewed early on, who said they did not believe that her health challenges were physical. I think when she was 32 weeks along in the pregnancy with Bella, that she exposed herself through her own behaviors and actions to Christopher Watts. And I think from that point forward, the marriage was over. I think that's when he realized that the person he thought he married didn't exist. I don't believe she was making any money at all. I think she was on disability. I think she was severely mentally ill. In the spring of 2016, when she was posting that she was checking out at the hospital in Indianapolis, and that was for over a month, and staying at some apartment complex in Indianapolis and going to the roller skating rink and to Applebee's. I think she was in a very intense mental health, wellness, whatever program. I think something happened before that month or month and a half that she was in Indianapolis. And for those of you who say she was not in Indianapolis, then my question would be, why would she post for over a month, month and a half that she was? So either way, it's not looking pretty for Christopher Watt's wife about the Indianapolis issue. Because if she was posting for a month and a half that she was checking out the hospital in Indianapolis, and you know, the 5th floor of that hospital has a very highly acclaimed mental health ward. So if she's posting for a month and a half that that's where she was at the hospital in Indianapolis, and she really wasn't, then there's a problem with that. Was she trying to tell people that she was a nurse or something? Was she a traveling nurse that month? Was that her storyline? If she actually was there checking out the hospital, and yet we're told over and over again, oh no, she was never there, then why was she there? Right? And then after that stint, that's when Bella and Cece were noticeably sick all the time. So what happened? Did she attempt to commit suicide? Did she self-harm? Did she self-harm in front of the children? Did she harm the children? That timeline is noticeable, obvious, alarming, whatever word. A month or month and a half checking out at the hospital in Indianapolis. What was it, June? April, May, June, whatever, in 2016. And starting in July of 2016, both kids are sick again. Oh, Bella's been sick for 15 days. Oh, emergency room last night. Oh, both kids are sick again. And remember the photos. Oh, the girls love to sleep with their faces covered with blankets and pillows. Really? Didn't she do a fundraiser on GoFundMe? Go figure, right? For somebody who lost a baby due to crib death? If you know somebody well enough to create a fundraiser on GoFundMe for somebody who lost a baby due to crib death, and I don't get why the GoFundMe. Tragedies happen, right? And it takes a GoFundMe to get through it? Really? Or could it be that the tragedy never even happened? I don't know. But if you're going to have the balls to start a GoFundMe for somebody who lost a baby due to crib death, then probably you shouldn't be posting photos on Facebook of your children sleeping with blankets over their faces. Robin says, hey, y'all, why did Christopher Watt's wife never post anything about that neck surgery? I believe that was self-inflicted. No mention of it until she posted with the neck brace on. I agree with you, Robin. I think she attempted suicide. And I do believe, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the medical examiner left out the neck scar, right? And I'm thinking that that was maybe a courtesy. I don't believe she had neck surgery. I don't believe that neck brace was prescribed by any doctor. I think that she bought it off of Amazon or maybe at a yard sale, who knows. I think she was lying about everything. I think she attempted suicide, and I think that is why there was somebody living in to help her. Kelly says there are pictures of a scar on her neck. Yes, there are. There's also a mother telling a quote-unquote friend to check the knives. Sandy said no occupational or physical therapy. Before anybody would elect to have a surgery like that, especially with the way she liked to post all sorts of crap about how she supposedly had all these issues, you know damn well she would have been posting ad nauseum all about her neck. She would have been on first name basis with her physical therapist. She would have been giving road reports of every session. She would have tried to act like she knew a thing or two about the spine. And I got news for you. Control freaks typically don't say yes to neck surgery right off the bat. They want to do whatever they can do through exercise, through physical therapy, chiropractors, whatever. They seek out whatever help they can find. Yoga. There's a whole lot you can do if you have a problem with your neck. And let's remember, she was telling the world that she was 34. Do you honestly believe a 34-year-old has some major issue that she needs to have neck surgery? Really? Huh. Exactly, Sandy. She would be trying to sign up physical therapists all over. She'd probably shop for a new one every couple of weeks so that she could give them the promo on the MLMs she was pushing, right? A tapestry of lies. When Tucker Carlson said that, I just thought, oh, that man does have a way with words. In my opinion, Christopher Watt's wife's entire life was a tapestry of lies. Dolo says to Sapphire, Cindy definitely should have sought intervention when she learned of the nightly dosing of the girls. Other than that, I have much respect for Cindy Watts. I have a lot of respect for Cindy Watts. I don't necessarily think that her personality is one that she would have even thought that she could make a difference if she spoke up about the nightly dosing. Remember when Christopher Watt's wife came charging towards Cindy Watts down the hallway, accusing her of attempting to murder Cece, that she ran. She was afraid. When she saw the grandchildren running and hiding from Christopher Watt's wife, and when one of the grandchildren said that they were afraid of the scary look in Christopher Watts' wife's eyes. Cindy scooped up the grandbabies and got the hell out of there fast. That was her default mode. Run. I asked her the question, why didn't you dial 911? And she sounded as if that was something she had never thought of before. I would have dialed 911. I would have had the police there in a nanosecond. And Christopher Watts' wife would have been taken in and checked out. You cannot suddenly flip a switch and charge toward your mother-in-law and accuse her, yelling at her in a threatening manner, yelling at her that she attempted to murder one of the children without being considered a risk to herself or others. She said herself on social media that she was shaking angry for 30 minutes straight. Shaking angry for 30 minutes straight while she stared out the window waiting for a ride. Well, I think her ride should have arrived with lights and sirens and an EMT ready to help her on her way to the hospital. Saint says the kids in daycare, why, if she was a stay-at-home mom? We're told because there was an open CPS case which had a family plan requiring that she never be allowed alone with the children. And then after a year or so of that family plan, we're told, they allowed 1 hour in the mornings for her to get the girls out the door. We're also told that they were required to both be in daycare full-time while Christopher Watts worked. And we're also told that she was not allowed to drive them anywhere. Which makes you wonder about that Indianapolis issue. Did she do something reckless with the car? Sandy says she was obviously overindulged all of her life. I don't think she was overindulged at all. I have the completely opposite viewpoint. I don't think she was ever overindulged. I think she was a misfit. I think she felt less than. And I think mental illness appeared around the time that she would have been 12 or 13 years old. Hey, M says, I gasped when I saw was live. It scared my husband. Hello, all. Your poor husbands, I'm telling you. And raise poor children. They're probably, Ray's kids are going to grow up going, I want to listen to Or, I don't know, maybe they'll be in a session in their 20s and they'll say, yeah, my mom had this weird habit of sitting on her computer listening to some lady. They'll be like, Mom, you're addicted. I bet there are a lot of husbands out there who are laughing at you guys. Like, uh-oh, here she goes again. Ignoring me, ignoring the house, ignoring the kids, so she can get a dose of quick. Sandy says that Cindy didn't want to. Ray says nap times with MM. That's cute. Sandy says Cindy didn't want to unleash that level of cray cray. I think cray cray was already unleashed. You know, think about how Cindy Watts told us that everybody walked on eggshells around her, and how other family members told the police how she had strong legs, right? She could kick. Well, doesn't make you wonder how many people she kicked and how all that went down? And that's it, Sandy. Ray's kids are going to grow up saying, be safe, be happy, and know that you are loved. And take your vitamin D. And get some really good sleep. And go for a walk in the woods with your dog. That's all I have for advice. Other than that, I don't know. Beware of the scumbag attackers, I'll tell you that. You know, I know that maybe sometimes I analyze things like beyond where the word analyze would even fit anymore. But that thing that happened the other night really got me to thinking, yes, Sandy, eat salmon twice a week. It got me to thinking, because as soon as that heavily accented non-United States citizen who thinks we give a shit what her opinion is about our laws, as soon as she said, who are you, Miss Mensa? Are you Critical K? Then the two hosts of the show, one of them, of course, thought it was hilarious. She had to laugh at that. She thought that was funny. The other one jumped on it. They didn't mind at all when that heavily accented foreigner who thinks she has a right to tell us what our laws should be, they didn't mind at all when she was insulting me, when she was lying about me, when she was attacking me. Oh, that was okay. When she was absolutely committing defamation by accusing me of being a hired scumbag attacker. Oh, they sat there just fine with that. No problem. Go ahead and bash MM. But as soon as she said, who are you, Miss Mensa? I almost said MM. As soon as she said, who are you, Miss Mensa? Are you Critical K? Poof! Boom. Put a stop to that now. Ooh, can't throw any shade on Critical K. So what's that tell you? And the one who laughed, oh, she's really good at saying, you know, it's just terrible how people are treated. Well, she sits there laughing at me being attacked by their scumbag guests up on the panel. Tells you a lot. You know, listening to it just one time through, maybe you don't pick up on that. But her laughter, the timing of her laughter, yeah, it tells you a lot. And the timing of the male host jumping fast to shut it down right when she said Critical K, oh yeah, that tells you a lot, doesn't it? And they're another channel, you know, trying to do the kumbaya crap, right? Trying to do the kumbaya. Well, they allow their guests up on the panel to attack people in their chat. So what they're claiming they stand for, their actions don't fit their words. Dolo says that Christopher Watt's wife's eyes were downright demon-looking the night of the Santa video. She had that Santa hat on, and her stage show was crumbling. Scary AF. And then she said, I feel you, Cindy Watts. Well, Maybe that's why people are so insistent that there was a family plan that did not allow her to be alone with the children. Saint says, Cindy is better than me. I would have had a fist of her hair if she came at me. I would have dialed 911 and I would have said that she's having some sort of a mental breakdown. Please get here very quickly because I have children here and they are frightened of her. I'm going to take the children and we're going to wait outside for you to get here. And remember, weren't we told by one of the relatives in the discovery anyway, the relative told the police, and it was in discovery, that Christopher Watt's wife claimed she saw razor blades laying all over the house. Well, if she saw razor blades laying all over the house, that would have been even more of a reason for the EMT to say, yeah, I'm thinking we're going to take this one in. Ray's talking about Alice Cooper having the transcripts and comments and stuff. Do you wonder how it is that she has her hands on all that stuff? Do you wonder about that? Yep, the bowl of nuts and razor blades. Ray says that Santa video is dreadful. My parents would have said, I'll let you go get the kids sorted and ring back later when they're okay. Not sat there grinning through the horror show. It kind of tells you, though, doesn't it, Ray, that that must have been the norm? Yes, M. Cindy took the children and she drove around for about 20 minutes hoping that Christopher Watt's wife would have been able to calm down, self-regulate, whatever. And when she got back to the house, according to Cindy Watts, her daughter-in-law was still out of control and standing there waiting for her ride. Waiting for her ride? Well, that kind of supports the claim that she wasn't allowed to drive with the girls. And it also supports the theory that she was broke, not successful at all, and barely able to function. Sandy says, isn't she buddy-buddy with the R's? Well, I think she's, the flavor of the year. She sits up there condemning others for attacking others. Well, she allows her attack videos to stay right up online. She's a scumbag. The scripts, the lies, committing defamation and slander, she's a scumbag. It's evidently how the little teams and gangs are formed. And evidently, they have the hope of making some Jake on pretending that they know anything about true crime cases. Alice Cooper is a good example of somebody who doesn't have a friggin' clue about the true crime cases she's talking about. Sapphire says she was on a downhill spiral, and the end is getting to be more apparent as to what really happened. I think she was probably a lunatic throughout the duration of the marriage. I think from the time the pregnancy with Bella was 32 weeks along, I think that's when she had her major mental break that Christopher Watts caught on to what he had married. I personally do not believe that her parents moved in to help with a high risk pregnancy, I think is what was said. Because remember, Cece was already born. So if they moved in to help with a high risk pregnancy, then that supports the theory that she was a baby factory for cash. I think they moved in because I think Christopher Watts was ready to move out. Ray says, why wouldn't CW tell anyone she was crazy, though, if she was hurting herself? Well, maybe he did. Maybe they knew it. Maybe he was believing that he wasn't able to divorce her while Bella was young. Maybe when she told him she was pregnant with Cece, maybe he already figured there was some shenanigans going on. You know, that whole thing about how he told Cindy Watts that he didn't know how she could have been pregnant because they weren't having sex with that last one, right? I'm not sure who, I think it might have been Saint, asked about Patreon quite a few comments ago. I just want to say there are a lot of different tiers to choose from. And there's one that includes everything. So just go take a look and see. I have descriptions for each tier. And if you have any ideas for any other tiers, or if you have any ideas as far as any cases you want to talk about, feel free to holler. MissMensa@gmail.com. Sandy says, why wouldn't they fix that basement since they were there for over a year? I think they were there for like 15 months or 16 months. They're contractors, aren't they? Well, maybe they were there to help care for their daughter. Remember, both girls were put in daycare full-time right at the same time that they left. And according to Cindy Watts, they left rather abruptly. According to Cindy Watts, who evidently witnessed some heavy-duty fighting, according to her and Ronnie, Christopher Watts' wife wanted her dad to stay. And the statements that Cindy Watts made about that altercation were not pretty. Did you guys ever see the Go Hump a Dog channel? The video that she posted with the dancing garage lady, the lady who dances in her garage. I had heard about it. It happened quite a while ago. I don't know how long ago, but a long time ago. She appeared up on her panel, and then she claimed later that she was verbally attacked by the other guests on the panel. Well, I had never taken the time to listen to it because I don't like that hump a dog crap. She was one of the very first to post terrible videos attacking me. I had never heard of her before. And the crap she posted was just total crap. She's connected, of course. They're all connected with this agenda, organization, whatever, the teams, the gangs. So I don't pay her channel any mind. But somebody pointed out something that I thought, I'll check it out. And I checked it out. For the longest time, the lady who dances in her garage used that appearance to basically say how she had been attacked. Well, I listened to it. She wasn't attacked. It got me to thinking. That whole routine of, they're attacking me, that's part of their scam. She wasn't attacked. I also thought it was very interesting the mistakes that they made when they were all trying to sound like they knew all about the case. I also think it's interesting how the one who dances in her garage is always claiming how she and Cindy Watts are such close friends. Really? Doesn't she live in Canada? It doesn't look like she gets out much. I don't think Cindy Watts gets out all that much. And when Cindy Watts and her family go on vacation, they usually go visit family. That's usually their vacation. But they're close friends? Yeah. She's another example of if you're not in the United States, then your opinion probably doesn't really matter about our criminal justice system. And your claim that you're going to somehow get Christopher Watts a trial is pretty much bullshit, too. Yes, Christy, she is a bit strange. I think she should stick to dancing and forget the true crime bit. M says the AD is a good example of this persecution complex that doesn't exist. I don't think it's a persecution complex. I think it's what they call controlled opposition. They have to create their antagonist. They have to create content. They have to keep everyone talking about it. Sapphire says, I can't see Cindy dancing in her garage either. I can't see her wanting to be a friend with the garage dancer. Sorry. Cindy doesn't use the F word. And people who don't use the F word usually aren't all that keen to be best buddies with people who do. Plus, Cindy was a career woman. Cindy worked. When you're a career woman, you don't hang tight with people who aren't or haven't been. You just don't. She's just like the banana and the KK. They all claim that they've done so much. Really? What have any of them done? Nothing. Nothing at all. I'm going to mute it just for a second. I'm going to run to the kitchen for just a second. I'll be right back. Keep talking. I'll be right back, and then I'll zoom through the comments that I missed. Ray says, let's club together and buy it. GoFundMe. Are you guys talking about buying the house? I think we need to buy the house and get some investigators in there. I just went back to the kitchen again. I'm back again. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to scroll up here. Ray says, imagine Cindy in a grubby garage, plastered. Sapphire says, that lady is off her rocker. Ray says, I wonder if Christopher Watts still has his iPad to call all these creators with coded messages. Robin says, what's going on with the house on Saratoga Trail? Yeah, you tell me, Robin. On the public side, it looks like Christopher Watts is paying his taxes. Boy, that's pretty fishy, isn't it? How on earth is Christopher Watts paying his taxes? Why would he be paying taxes on a house that was supposedly foreclosed upon? The Tapestry of Lies. Why was the auction canceled? Not once, but twice. Why was it canceled at all? Why are we being lied to about everything? Why was the quick claim deed that a lot of us saw posted on the public site that showed Christopher Watts' wife signing a quick claim deed taking her name off the house in the middle of a bankruptcy? That's kind of against the law, you guys. It's called trying to hide your assets. And what that tells me is that 70 grand was probably all her debt. Why was that removed from the public site? Why this special treatment? Or could it just be why the cover-up? If she took her name off the house, then why didn't Christopher Watts use his house equity to hire a legal team? How did he get a court-appointed lawyer when he had that much access to that much money, right? When he had clear access, not that you have to, I guess, mortgage your house even further, but why didn't he want to? Why didn't his father say, stop talking, dumbass? Why did he say yes to a lie detector? Why was that clock ticking so loudly during the interview? Why was the FBI agent wearing a striped sweater? Sandy says that house needs light paint. I agree. Well, the fact that it's still sitting there tells me there's something fishy going on. But we kind of already knew that, didn't we? Ray says, what's happening with Junior and his fundraising? Did he have to reimburse or need more money to sue English people? Dolo says, I wish we knew for certain why Christopher Watts' wife did a 5-week vacay to North Carolina. I think that the marriage was already over. I think that the court was going to restrict any access to the children further. I think that the caregiver said she wanted her position to end. She was busy that summer with getting married and all. And I think that they decided that the parents could go ahead and supervise their daughter when the caregiver was busy. I think that court hearing for the ongoing family matter was going to seal the deal. I think Christopher Watson, Bella, and Cece were going to be just fine. I think it was kind of like the last hurrah for his wife. I think if the friend slash who we think was a caregiver didn't have a wedding that summer, then probably she would have continued to stay in Colorado for those 5 weeks. Just my opinion. Robin says FRJR is a train wreck trying to stay relevant. I don't think he's posting his own comments, because if you look at the last comment he posted, there's some pretty big words in there. I don't know. M says, where did all the money go? It really makes no sense without theories like drug use and pouring it all into MLMs. Well, I don't think she was making any money. I think they were existing on Christopher Watt's income and whatever disability check she may have gotten, and whatever credit cards I think she could get her hands on. I think that's, I mean, look at it, 70 grand. 70 grand. They weren't even married for what, 2 years, 2.5 years, and then they were broke again 2.5 years later. I highly doubt she ever made a penny from working. Ray says that he said in the police interview that the bankruptcy was not including medical bills. Really? That's interesting, isn't it? I took a close look at the bankruptcy. It actually had about 4 grand in medical bills, unpaid medical bills. Out of over 70,000, it was about four grand. Yes, Sandy, why was his back facing the door? I've been true criming for a long time, and I've never seen the suspect seated in such a way that the suspect was the one who you couldn't see their face. That's not how it works. Spacebound makes a good point. Why didn't they ask about the girls on the lie detector test? Candace says, does a super chat send money? Evidently, but we don't do super chats here, Candace. Right, Spacebound, they should have asked. They should have asked, and he should have never taken it in the first place. He should have hired a lawyer fast. Who said that about a psyops? Let me scroll up here a second. Was that Ray or no? Scrolling. Christy said it. Christy said because either MM is correct or it's a psyop. Here's what I think. I think there was a lot of acting going on. I think there was a lot of lying going on. I think there was a cover-up going on. But I think the tragedy did happen. I do think that Bella and Cece were murdered. And I think that Christopher Watt's wife did die. So I don't think it's like a psyops to the degree that it's just some kind of fake case that they're putting out there, you know? I think, just my opinion, I think there are some very nasty people who were actually involved in framing Christopher Watts in order to try to protect the image of his wife. And I think those nasty people cleaned up the house, especially the bathroom, took the bodies out to his job site, and I think they've been lying ever since. I think the police were already well aware of Christopher Watt's wife. I think the courts were already well aware of Christopher Watt's wife. I think both law enforcement and the courts may have reflected on how they may have been able to have done things a little better. Just my opinion. That's a good point, Em. His dad did say you need an attorney. And as soon as he said the word lawyer, then the FBI agents came running in the door of that little interview room, didn't they? Christy says, I know you don't really buy the whole PSYOP deal, blah, blah, blah. I do, but after the tragedy, like I think that at this point, I think there were like a few different layers of people involved with wanting to keep it all on the down low. At this point, I think the agenda has to do with trying to make people afraid on social media to actually speak. I think they're trying to control social media. They're trying to take control of it or whatever. And I think the true crime genre is one area where they're having a tough time because there are people like us who are looking at what they're doing going, okay, let's talk about this. What is it they're doing, right? But I think they're trying in all areas on, well, specifically YouTube and Facebook. The other platforms, they don't put up with any of this crap. So I think Facebook and YouTube are being used to try to basically make people afraid to speak, to think. You guys are true crimers. You've looked at other cases. Before the case of Stephen Avery, had you ever heard of any case where people just seem so off? Well, with the case of Christopher Watts, it's the same kind of deal. It just seems off. Spacebound says, or cover up for those people. It's one or the other, in my opinion. I think there are a lot of people with a lot to cover up, too. M says, there's a lot of lies, no doubt. But I'm not feeling psyop personally. I'm open to the Gabby case being one, though. I am too, M. Wench says, morning, everyone. It's a cover up for the people whose idea was to have the girls remain in the home. I think it might also be a cover up as far as whether or not there was a suicide. I also think there are a whole lot of very icky people who think that Bella and Cece Watts being murdered is an opportunity to make some quick cash. Christy says the Petito case is a definite psyop. Do you think so? Really? Definitely? I think it's an odd one. I thought that footage, the body cam footage of the officers talking to them when they got pulled over, that seemed pretty odd. Spacebomb says, agree about suicide cover-up, but I do believe it's possible Chris saw it on camera and accidentally killed her. I don't think he accidentally killed anybody. I don't think he killed anybody. I think when he left for work, everyone was alive. Kimberly Hood says, my son just had his first anniversary with a clone of Christopher Watts' wife, right down to the engagement ring. Cindy said something in one of her interviews, quote, "He finally saw the light. I'm seriously concerned." Well, Kimberly, I have one question for you. It's all that matters. Nothing else matters. All I want to know is, did you go to the wedding? I'm just teasing you. Lilibet says, morning. If it was moving day, who spent the night there? Well, I don't know, Lilibet. Who do you think might have spent the night there on moving day? I'm thinking that there were 3 other people there. And I'm thinking that Christopher Watt's wife was not supposed to be there. And I'm thinking that those 3 other people cleaned everything up with the help of a couple of other people. And they got the hell out of Dodge fast after taking the bodies out to the job site. Kimberly answered the question of whether or not she went to the wedding. She says, yes, I did. It was during COVID-19, so I was the ring bearer and photographer. Well, hallelujah, at least you went to the wedding. Evidently, that makes you a better person than Cindy Watts. TH says, in the Wisconsin interview, when law enforcement TLS did SW fall down the stairs, the way he responds seems he was helping her walk down the stairs by placing her feet on the steps. Could that be something to do with the BAC level? Lilibet says, I keep going back to why did SW apologize to SR during her vision? Says a lot. Interesting. Good question, Lilibet. Sorry for what? I'm sorry, Mom. Sorry for what? What'd you do? What'd you do that you would have to apologize? Sorry for, huh? What? Oh, Kimberly's giving us more details. She did attend the wedding, but she's saying that was before she found out that her dill is bonkers. Ooh, she says that her son is not happy with her right now. Oh, Kimberly, you spoke up. You're supposed to take your lead from Cindy Watts and walk on eggshells. Kimberly says, I wear boots. That either means she wears like waders to wade through the shit, or it means that she can kick too. Christy says that new theory from, I don't know which channel, TJ or something, or the Red X or whoever it is, I don't know. Christy says it's hard to follow and lengthy, but she believes maybe that SW and maybe the girls were left laying in the rubbish dump at Anadarko before being buried. I think they were taken out there by the people who cleaned the bathroom. I don't know, maybe in a red truck. Christy says, hence the position the SW was found in. Butt in the air, feet turned up, rigor mortis, toilet bowl, strong bleach smell in the bathroom, door was locked, no water in the bowl, rubber glove on the counter in the kitchen. Gee, I wonder who cleaned that bathroom. Robin says, if all these people were coming and going from the house, was Nate's camera footage all BS? I think it was, Robin. I don't know. We all have security cameras, or we've all seen security cameras. Do you ever see commercials on your security camera that run twice in a row? Didn't that commercial run twice? I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, the fetus commercial? And I don't know about you, but it sure seems to me that if those videos are made, you know, from a motion sensor clicking them on, then the videos would have included, oh, I don't know, Christopher Watt's wife getting home the night before from the neighbor's camera, right? Christy says the red truck is absolutely being talked about, that a few of his coworkers were involved. Christy, I do not believe. I'm with you. Christy says she finds it very hard to believe. I highly, highly, highly disagree. I totally do not believe that any coworkers were involved, including the one he was doinking. Sapphire says, so there's got to be a huge cover-up. The DA, CBI, why the big secret about it? Well, why was the CBI even brought in? Could it be that the agents were specially trained in how to question certain types of people? Yes, Christy, exactly. Exactly. What are the chances that the commercial that came on during that footage would have been from the American Horror Story. Christy says it was an American Horror Story preview, and it's a movie that's full of coincidences to the Watts case. What are the chances? Probably about the same as Christopher Watts' wife ever making a dime at any MLM. Or probably about the same as Bella and Cece having familial Mediterranean fever, or asthma, or any illness that wasn't created. Lilibet says, so, if all of this is true, what would their motive be in framing CW? Money? Reputation of SW? Well, Lilibet, I think there are a few layers to the cover-up. I think different reasons were in play for different people and or agencies. I think the idea that it may have been a suicide, I think that was directly connected to the possibility that perhaps benefits would not be paid. I think to the theory that Christopher Watts' wife murdered poor little Bella and Cece, I think that would be the CPS issue. I think whether or not she self-harmed after, the theory that she murdered the children, that might be for whatever agency or department or whatever that may have been involved with her in the past. We were told that she was caught in December of 2016, just 6 months or so after that Indianapolis vacay, and it wasn't a vacation in my opinion, that she was caught medically abusing the children. So, yeah, probably if you're the law enforcement agency that didn't seek charges, or if you're the prosecutor that didn't prosecute, yeah, And the whole idea that they kept trying to compare the case to the Lacey Peterson case, that's absurd. But the fact that there were so many scumbag attackers engaging in nefarious acts immediately after the case hit the headlines, well, I think there was a cover-up. I think the scumbag attackers were recruited to try to promote the false narrative. And you know what, you guys, I'm not just like winging it here. I believe that Christopher Watts' wife quite likely knew some of the scumbag attackers with online activity prior to the tragedy. I think, quite frankly, she may have been one of them. I do not believe she was making money on any MLM. I think she was hanging out on social media as a troll. Whatever the hell a troll is. I think she was obsessed with social media. I don't know any person who would be staying at home Monday through Friday while her husband worked and both children were in daycare full time, who would not be actively pursuing a successful career. Because let's face it, if she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, well, the definition of stay-at-home mom is not for mom to stay at home while the kids are shipped off to a daycare center. Lisa's calling that guy a renowned. I always hate it when I mispronounce crap. Lisa Hunt is calling, what's his name? Oh, what's his name? I can't think of his name. She's calling him a renowned doctor who has a YouTube channel. He even unwittingly determined that Chris Watts did not fit the family annihilator profile. I think it's Grundy or something like that. I can't remember his name. Well, Lisa, if you watch a few more of his videos and then step back and look at the bigger picture, you have to kind of wonder, where does he get his information? And what is his motive, really? I watched his little bit on the Routier case, and I thought to myself, wait a minute. Something doesn't seem right about this. And then I started looking at a few of his other videos, and I thought, oh, interesting. Interesting, the angles and some of his statements. Yes, he does have a huge following. He's very easy to listen to. He does a good presentation. But I still wonder about some of his information just doesn't seem spot on. He is very easy to listen to, though. He's very, humble acting. That twit out of the UK, she was a whole nother story. They call her a psychologist. She is not a psychologist. And she was definitely part of the agenda. If he is, I think he's a lot more classy and a lot more intelligent than the female one out of the UK. Yes, Lisa, he did say that he didn't fit the profile. Kitty says she's a life coach. Well, they call her a psychologist when they talk about her. And she's kind of disappeared lately, I think, too, hasn't she? Gee, I wonder if she had maybe like a 1-year contract or something. I didn't know that. Interesting, Lisa. Yes, live abuse free. That's the one, Kitty. A total trip. Oh, she's a psychologist. Oh, no, she isn't. Of course, she's about 10 notches higher than the one who claimed she was a psychologist on the AD panel. They call her Lips. Kimberly says that she loves Dr. Grande's deadpan humor. He does. He has that very level, like if you're cooking in the kitchen or something, he's a good channel to go to play. But if you watch closely, if you know about any case at all, then listen to the videos he does on those cases, and you'll think, wait a minute, where's he getting his information exactly? Lisa just said a cute. When I'm full of useless knowledge. Knowledge is a good thing. Oops, here goes a video. Hold on a minute. Okay, this title of this video says Cindy tells Chris about the private funeral and tells him, quote, Bella was you. Okay, this is what the video says. Oops, there we go. Hold on. There. The video says, this family is not only delusional, but also cold-hearted. Not once have the Watts taken accountability for what Chris did. And that's the reason they are hated worldwide. Okay, I'm going to interrupt it here for a second. This family is not only delusional. No, the Watts family is not delusional. But the channel creator says, but also cold-hearted. No, the Watts family is not cold-hearted. It says, not once have the Watts taken accountability for what Chris did. Well, what if they don't think Chris did it? Duh. And then it says, and that's the reason they are hated worldwide. No, the only reason there's any hate jumping on them is because people have either been hired or recruited to promote a disgusting narrative against them. They're not hated worldwide. In fact, they have thousands of supporters. Actual people, not fake profiles, who actually do support Ronnie and Cindy Watts. The video continues, as many of us know, in August 2018 in Frederick, Colorado, Christopher Lee Watts murdered his pregnant wife alongside their two living children, Bella and Cece. Well, as many of us know, we've been told that we'll never know the truth about this case. So that tells me we've been getting lied to. A tapestry of lies. Because here's a heads up. There are many of us who believe that Christopher Watts was actually telling the truth when he said he did not murder his children, Bella and Cece Watts. This video says this call was taken a few days prior to Watts pleading guilty to all 4 murders. He didn't plead guilty to 4 murders, did he? I thought that was a big hoopla at the time. Right? So the video continues. This is the choice of conversation between family killer Chris and mother Cindy, who has since the deaths disregarded what son Chris has done and has tirelessly slagged her daughter-in-law off as a mother and wife. No, she hasn't tirelessly done anything. It's the bullshit. I wonder if this person is hired or if she's just like a follower. Not sure.
Thank you. You too.
You do. You look really, really good. Oh my goodness. The service on Sunday, oh my gosh, it was so pretty. Everything was decorated so nicely for Halloween, and we had crosses made for each of them. And I had bought a CD player at Walmart, and and they put the CD in, and it kept skipping, and it kept skipping, and it kept skipping. And so they sang the song without the CD. And then the second CD they put in, it was skipping and skipping and skipping. And Monica said, okay, that's little Cece. She is over there messing with that CD right this minute. And then an eagle flew over flew over the gravesite. And,
Really?
Yeah, and it was, and the pictures that we took, they were, they had a ray of sunshine in each picture of all of them, and it was a nice service. Everyone attended, and everyone sends their love. Mike, Joey, Keith, Juana, Debbie, Linda, Christina. All of them send their love to you, Chris. Please, please, just stay strong. Promise me. Promise me. I can't lose you.
I won't do anything like that.
No, I can't lose you.
It's interesting, you guys. In the comment threads, somebody commented that Christopher Watt's mom is delusional because she thought that Cece was there at their funeral service. Really? You guys just heard it, right? She was basically remembering her granddaughter, who was all over the place and constantly messing with stuff. It sounded kind of loving, didn't it? It sounded kind of like a grandma who's heartbroken. It sounded like a woman. Oh, wait, the woman who, when Christopher Watts and his wife traveled outside of the country for 5 days straight, it sounded like the woman who they chose to take care of Cece and Bella in their absence. So what are the people doing in the comment threads? Oh, she's crazy. Oh, she's delusional. Really? Why is it one side of the family can post all sorts of stuff about spears to their foreheads, knowing the sex of the baby because of the string and the needle test or whatever, right? We're told that when we die and go to heaven, that Christopher Watt's wife is going to be standing there putting in her 2 cents worth of whether or not we're going to be let in. We're told all sorts of stuff, aren't we? Cindy Watts shares basically a bit of humor, remembering her granddaughter. And anyone with half a brain cell would know that Cindy Watts didn't believe that Cece was there, right? But the comment threads are full of hate, full of hatred for Christopher Watt's mother. It's organized, it's scripted, and it's disgusting. And by the way, that video was put up just a few days ago. 3 years later, they're still posting hateful content against Christopher Watt's mom. Maybe Cindy Watts should do a fundraiser. Maybe she needs a GoFundMe. I'm thinking maybe she needs a GoFundMe just to go get her hair done. Like every week for the next 10 years. You know, to have that hour each week where she can forget about the scumbag attackers who are evidently recruited to try to convince the world that she's a bad person. Who hates Cindy Watts? Well, maybe we should ask Alice Cooper. Maybe we should ask the people who have been recruited to attack innocent people who it is exactly who has recruited them. Lisa, that's a good point. She said, I would give to that GoFundMe as long as KK couldn't touch it. That's a good point. Doing any sort of a fundraiser for the Watts family, you'd have to wonder which one of the self proclaimed lawyers. Oh, wait, they aren't lawyers because they say that their credentials don't really matter, right? But you would have to wonder. I would wonder too. That's a good point. Lisa says we should send her a Christmas gift. I'm not sending anybody anything, Lisa. Not at all. This case is too far fetched to ever send any of them anything. I mean, feel free if that floats your boat, but I make it a point not to reach out. Not to say I don't listen closely and ask a lot of questions when others reach out to talk to me about cases that they're intimately involved with. I don't mind hearing the details, but I don't reach out ever. It is a good idea, Lisa. It's a really good idea. I don't know. The only way I think would be with their permission first, if that makes sense. I mean, I know your heart's in the right place and everything. It's just, I don't know. They get approached by so many weirdos. I don't know. Plus, remember, like if you would have said that last year, well, not last year, but the year before, if you would have said it the year before, I would have said, oh, that's a great idea. Let's do it. But with everything with the banana and the KK and all that crap, yeah, I don't know. I think too, with all the people, all the channels doing the, give me your money for whatever their reasons are, it'd probably be attacked by all the scumbags. It'd give them something to run with, which could be kind of fun. Maybe I should rethink it, huh? What do you guys think? Do you think we should do I don't know, some kind of a gifty idea? How does the GoFundMe thing work? If you set somebody up to be the beneficiary, then does the money go directly to them? Because that's what, no, I think they would have to like send it and then you send it on. And I don't want to be involved with any of that crap. I am way too busy. I don't think so, Lisa. I think, I don't know. I think, like, for any of you, if you feel led to do something for Ronnie and Cindy, I would say probably their address, I think, has been doxed. I don't know if they have a P.O. box or not. Um, I wouldn't send anything to their house, though. I just wouldn't. I would dig around and see because it's been docked so many times. If they have a mailing address, I don't know. This is why I kept encouraging them to get a lawyer, an actual lawyer, and to have the lawyer be their spokesperson kind of thing. Because if they actually would have right off the bat hired a lawyer, then people would be able to just contact the lawyer and say, hey, we'd like to send a gift, da da da, and then the lawyer could intercede. Oh, if that's possible, Lisa, that'd be a good way to do it because that way you're not really like intruding. Lisa says, I think you can send gift cards via email now. If there'd be a way to do it electronically, then, that might be a better idea. I don't know. There's just something about that idea that I'm just kind of like, I don't know. It would be nice, Christy. Christy says that would be nice of us to send the Watts a gift. It would be nice, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'll tell you what, why don't I email her and say, right, Lisa, something just like for dinner and a movie or something. Why don't I email her and ask for her permission for us to do a Christmas gift for her? How's that sound? Because I would feel better if we had her permission. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just like a random, oh, this is for you. I mean, they've got to be creeped out by now, right? Okay, I'm typing the email. Okay, I just sent the email. I sent her an email saying that we're doing a live chat right now and that our members are talking about how it'd be nice to be able to send a gift to her for Christmas, and that I told you guys I would ask her first for her permission to do that. And then I asked where she would like the gift card to be sent. And I said, hopefully you have a P.O. box. So We'll see if she answers. She may not answer. I don't know. But she may. Susie is asking Lisa about a live chat. I didn't really pay attention. I saw just a couple minutes of that. What was that about? I'll tell you my experience with what you guys are talking about. Somebody emailed me about it and I took a quick look and I saw a lot of names I recognized. And I saw that channel creator promoting people scumbag attackers. So I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, what? And then I saw you guys in the chat and I'm like, what's this about? And I was actually too busy. I think my phone rang. Pixie Doll says, I hope she will. Yeah, I hope she does too, Pixie. That'd be nice. If so, then I'll do a special live chat on it so everyone knows exactly what it's about. And it's early enough too that people would have time. Even I don't know what I would prefer though would be that the gifts would go directly. So if she could give us a PO box to where it would be safe, you know, like I'm not interested in handing out their home address or anything. You know what I mean? Or if she could give us any contact information of somebody other than them, right? Then that way people could just send the gift card themselves, maybe in a Christmas card, which would be so much nicer, I think, for her if she got a lot of support from a lot of different people. Lisa says it's a long story. LOL. Lots of love. Well, it seemed to me that there were just a lot of names getting floated around that are known scumbags. So I thought, yeah. Right, Susie. I think it is a good idea. I think it'd be great. But I don't like the idea of going, let's have donations for XYZ. I think it'd be better if, even just like those cards that you get where you can get a box of like 25 of them. They're all kind of generic. Even just a nice little note, One of the cutest cards I got, I think it was last year, was from someone who's totally obsessed with the case of Christopher Watts. And she had run out of her cards, so she sent me, which I don't know why she did this. It was kind of weird. But she was pregnant at the time, so, if someone's pregnant, they can be silly. But she sent me one of her son's Christmas cards. It had, I think, a little dinosaur on it. It was really cute. It was very cute. And so was her apology for sending me a juvenile Christmas card. But it was sweet. It was nice. Exactly, Susie. And then she could put it on the refrigerator. Good thinking. Christy says, how cool. You could just email Cindy. Well, it was probably cooler before because, I've been pretty outspoken. So, it's a 50-50 if she'll reply. If her daughter hears this, she'll be on the phone to her, no doubt, saying, don't you email her. I betcha. Or probably KK or the banana or the dancing garage lady or the lady who dances in her garage. Because we all know garages don't dance. They're probably trying to get on the phone with her going, don't you dare. Don't let Mensa send you a Christmas gift. But I think it would be good for her to know that she does have a lot of actual people supporting her, not just a bunch of fake profiles posting comments that are obviously scripted. There's yawn number two. Oh, gee, I'm looking at the time. I'm like, gee, I wonder why I'm yawning. Oh, I'm way too old to be up this late. Or way too busy, I should say. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be busy tomorrow getting everything set for Thanksgiving. My list is already written out and it is long. Why do we do that, you know? Why do I let a few days go by where I accomplish pretty much zilch? Not that I didn't intend to accomplish more, but I don't know. I seem to get a lot done when I have too much to do. Yeah, I should go to sleep because I do have to get up early in the morning. I like to do my errands when the stores first open because that way there aren't a bunch of people cruising around. That's a sign of aging. You know it, don't you? When you plan out your little errands where you try to avoid the crowd. Coffee Girl says, I bet I'm older than you. I bet you aren't, Coffee Girl. I think I'm the ancient one here. Wench says, I wish we had Thanksgiving. I could go for some grub. Well, Wench, why don't you go ahead and celebrate Thanksgiving this year? You can join us from across the pond. Yes, Lisa, they will be back tomorrow. So I scheduled a live chat for Thursday. I can't remember what time. It was for the afternoon, like late afternoon. Lilibet says, nope, I'm the oldest here. That's cute. You guys know that Lilibet is actually the queen, right? She's one of our biggest fans. Now that, scumbag attackers, is delusional. Spacebound says, I'm definitely aging then. You like your lists and planning your errands? Scary Truth says, I get mine delivered. It's worth it, believe me. I did that one year. It wasn't delivered, but I ordered it from the store. And then we put the food into my dishes and presented it as if we made it. It was hilarious. During grace, the person giving grace was not aware that the meal came from the store. And, he was doing a really good, prayer. And those of us who were in on the secret started laughing during grace because he's, doing the thing about how hard we worked for the wonderful feast, right? We all started cracking up. It didn't go over well when we were laughing during grace, but we laugh about it now. Keep moving forward got here just in time to say goodnight. Hey, keep moving forward. So anyway, I scheduled one for Thanksgiving. It'll be just like an hour. But I thought for any of you who are living alone, who are, I don't know, bored on Thanksgiving, or who just want to bebop into the live chat, even if you're busy and, your house is packed with people, I thought we would do just 1 hour on Thanksgiving Day, late in the afternoon. And pretty much the focus of the live chat can be where we're just talking about the stuff we're thankful for. I thought that'd just be a good idea for us to do. And then we'll do another live chat this weekend too. So on that note, let's go ahead and plan on seeing each other for a little bit on Thursday afternoon. And you guys know the routine. Oops, Susie says we don't have Thanksgiving in the UK. Well, go ahead and have Thanksgiving, Susie. You can celebrate with us. Of course, I guess it was kind of a day when the UK was probably like those little bastards. Lilibet says, Happy Thanksgiving. So we'll talk again on Turkey Day for a little bit. And between now and then, remember, be safe, be happy, and know that you are loved. Good night, everyone.